Hello YouTube, it is Damien, it is Sunderland, it is Bright Lights, it is episode 67 of Bright Lights, and we're here today with the Europa League first knockout round draw. Usually we do it with the end of the group stage, as we discussed in last episode, episode 66, which we'll talk about in just a second. We knew that the last game meant nothing, so we decided not to play it considering how much of a mood I was. So we rotated heavily in that game as well because we were focusing on the league and trying to recapture some form, which we have done, and we'll talk about that too in a second. So what we're going to do in this episode is actually go through this first round draw and then really go through what we've changed at the moment at Sunderland and see what we've done and see what we might be building towards. And we've gone with a tactic that you've seen in the past but slightly adapted it as well. Anyway, we do have the first knockout round draw, which we'll talk about. Well, I'm going to speak about episode 66, the brand new day, thank God. Obviously we were very demotivated and confused about what was happening here. We lost to Newcastle 5-0, we lost to Burnley, who were down in 18th. It was all happening last night. But, we recaptured some form, like I've said, and we'll talk about it in a second. And it's a brand new day, we're upbeat, and we're ready for this one here. It still stands, though, what I did say last night, even though I was a bit annoyed. If we don't finish top 4 and we don't win the Europa League this year with the squad we have, it might be time to resign from Sunderland. It might be. Just because maybe we're just not good enough. Anyhow, let's get into this Europa League draw. We are going to get the Europa League song on. Obviously, there's a lot of teams we want to avoid, and then there's a lot of teams that, are there that we do buy-in here. Okay. The way that last night went, we'll get buy-in. The way this morning's gone, we could get anybody. Automatic draw. Let's hope we get just drawn away and not away against buy-in. If we get buy-in, so be it. We have to finish top 4. Salzburg, I wouldn't mind. It's Club Brugge. I wouldn't mind any. Rapid Vienna I would love, and it's Ajax, a team that I would not have minded, but obviously a team that maybe at this stage you don't want. Vitesse will play Krasnodar in the Russian league. Sparta of Moscow get Villarreal, two sides I didn't want to play, which is good. Rangers are always hit and miss, and they get Marseille, which is a team we didn't want to play. Malaga now, a team I don't really like. Chelsea go out, we couldn't get Chelsea anyway. Hearts, I would love to take Hearts on, and it is Sunderland, there you go. We're going to trip all the way to just over the road to Scotland. And we get Hearts, of all places, who are currently 8th. I believe Hearts won the Scottish Cup last year. Their key player is Mike Scars, who is contracted. He's actually not a bad attacking little midfielder. We'll pause the Europa League. But yeah, we get Hearts coming up in the Europa League, which is really good. Their captain is still Pablo Mario, who's been here for a little bit, I remember off the top of my head. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I thought they had a centre-back that was been here for a long time. Angus McDonald. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Angus McDonald's been here for a long while. Players that of decent ability. He's obviously really good in the air as Angus McDonald, but a player that we should be really doing ourselves against. If we look at their squad here, anyone that's playing like superb. Ashley Fletcher apparently has been playing superb. The 29-year-old Englishman is very well-rounded, but I still think that we should be better than anyhow. As you can see, we do get Hearts there, who we should be beating home and away, but you just never know. In terms of what we're going to talk about in the league, we have to talk about tactics. Now, obviously, the last game that the stream saw was the Burnley 2-1 loss. The last game that we saw on YouTube was the 5-3 winning at Standard, where we slightly changed the 4-3-3. Arsenal there, we drew 2-2 with a 4-4-2 for everybody that didn't watch on stream and watching this video back. And obviously the last game was that Burnley one. We changed against West Brom to a 4-3-3, which we played against Stanley Liège. And just, all of a sudden, the possession came back and there was creativity. There was goals that we were scoring. I was just like, oh, that's a goal that we really want to create. I don't know if it was a Nakamura one or Godin one. I know Godin scored one, I think, in the game before. We'll just highlight like the areas people are getting into. And this is how I view football, and I'm, because I coach 18s and doing my license, I'm always looking for something. Anyway, that was a bit quick, which makes it, it was just Haller being super fast. It's all about pressing in areas like here, it's balls out wide, which should be, Miguel should be closer in this quadrant, and, should be getting Pedro then, he should be forcing him in tight, and it's basically off we go. They've actually broken the second line here. But as you can see, we eventually do press it and we've got in. The said result does happen, but it's just more what we've done in here, Ball gets pressed in, Haller drives into the space, and because we're playing with a winger now, we've actually got run in behind, where when we play with 2 strikers, it didn't happen, and Nakamura finishes nicely. I'm pretty sure with the got in one, it's just a long-range hit, and we do have a lively goal to show you from Durant Miguel in the last game. We've run a couple of games 1-0, and it seems like just playing with an anchor man and 2 centre mids, we've become a little bit more defensively solid. But once again, just building up from the back and using the width for the field, coming inside, yet again, Hala driving into the spaces, and as you can see, it's just, Nakamura there, gives it on top of the box to Godin, and we're just creating chances. It was a lovely goal from Godin, by the way, and the main reason we show that one is because it's Godin. Against Bournemouth, we're a little bit open again at the back. Bournemouth is a side that no matter what we play in the say, we're always open against Bournemouth. I don't know why. It's just the way Bournemouth are and the players they have with Zaha and Hazard. They just, and usually Marino has a good game as well. They usually do stuff to us. Adrian's scoring a double though. All of a sudden, since we've changed to this, Adrian's getting games where he's scoring 2-3, he scored 4 in the Stanley Liège game, and then we have a game where he gets a 6.5. I feel like we're just going to have to bear with that Adrian's not going to be as good as he is. But we are starting to score goals in the other way that I like scoring on Football Manager, which is if we get pressed in here like we have been right now, as it's just good play and build up. I believe this is one of the moments. You train your striker to run into channels, and channels, if you look from behind the goal, is, channels isn't just a straight ball over the top. A channel is between fullback and centre back. As you can see, Nakamura's in the perfect spot. I wouldn't mind a ball into this channel here and say, Nakamura, off you go, if we're getting pressed in. The channel could be between centre back, and the run comes inside. Adrian makes a nice looping run in, and, or he makes a darting run across into the left-hand channel, or he can come out into the wide channel. A ball straight is easy to defend. In the end, I believe it is one of them that played the ball over the top. It's Nagai, right? And as you can see, it's not a straight ball either. It's a diagonal ball inside the channel. And look, to relieve pressure, I like it because it gets them on the back foot. First thing that happens is if we win it like we did, we score, right? Second thing that happens if we don't win it is it allows us to get up out of the press if we're being highly pressed, and then we can press because we're a pressing side in the 4-3-3. As it so happens, the ball goes in over the top and Adrian does score. But that's the second thing, and that's something that I thought we had in the asymmetric counter fluid system, and we did see it a bit, but it wasn't that ball specifically. It was more a ball out to Marquez on the far left, and Marquez used to be really good at coming in and doing stuff with it. As it so happens, it wasn't. Against Everton, we won 1-0. Mike got in yet again, scoring another goal. I don't think the goal was too special, off the top of my head. It was a low-driven shot across. But as you can see in this game, created a lot of chances, but unfortunately just once again, that rear head of no one's going to finish. But defensively, really solid. And it's the first time in a while that Daniel and I've played well together. It's a pairing, which was good to see. Daniel's now all of a sudden won by Bayern for like 29 mil. We're getting offers for 80 from Liverpool, so we're not going to sell for that. And then obviously against Fiorentina, we drew 3-1. As you can see, we heavily rotated. Like Porter played unfit, Kim Jan played, Pedro played, Van Dijk played left back. Miguel Alexander played back in line. He can't play there. Robinson played. It was just... Yeah, it was just whatever. We tried to get back into it, and it didn't happen either because I didn't want to lose. Anyway, against Leicester, we did win 1-0 there. And in this game here, Leicester play a very weird style. They play a counter system, but they know how to keep the ball well, kind of similar to what we did until just gone before these run of fixtures. But Durant Miguel has scored what I think is going to win goal of the month this season, and probably our goal of the year at the end of the season. We've had some good goals go in and fly in, but this one here is just an absolute perler, mainly because how much this man moved in the air. The ball falls to Dosek. Dosek gives it to Miguel. He takes a touch, gets the ball forward and looks up and goes, well, I don't have anything on here. I can pop it into this channel. Maybe Halle can get there. Or I can, maybe I can turn back around. But even then, a man marking both centre-backs is not the easiest ball for Dossett to get in. So he makes the right decision and he shoots. And oh boy, does he shoot. Look at that start outside the post and just absolute top bins. Like, if we can reverse that, we can't reverse it. I was going to say, if we can watch that from the other back of the other side, that would be sensation. But as you can see, what a strike it was from Durant Miguel. I will admit that we have probably played sides since Stanley Liège that are, we should be beating West Brom, we should be beating Bournemouth, should be beating Everton, we should be beating Leicester. I'm guessing that that's Jackson for the win, one of my mods. Knows that we're filming right now because he's just spamming, games that he's opening. We should be beating West Ham, we should be beating Stoke. I'm tempted to come back from the Man City game. We got Coventry in the thing, and just to say, okay, so we've seen the system work now. Let's test it again, a big side, and me and you can go into the absolute unknown. And I think that's what we're going to do next episode. There's no point me keeping you here and dragging you out until next episode just to see Man City. I'm going to just do that as a little episode to say this is us pushing for top 4. Anyhow, from Damien, Sunderland, and Bright Lights, that's going to be a very short but a very nice little episode on episode 67, just to highlight what's changed, highlight that, I think we're moving forward now. We've got enough potential in the squad. There's a case now to bring maybe like Jasmine back from loan. He's not having the best of time of it. If we go to Jasmine, out in Sevilla, he's not having a great time of it. Had a great preseason. He always plays well for Bosnia. But as a player that we can bring back and obviously be in and around the first team squad as backup to Nakamura. There's obviously players that we're now a little bit too top heavy because we're going one up front, so we might have to sell a striker or two, Joe Sylvia. But it just means that the transfer window will be interesting. Tonight we come home from work after 6:30, long shift, and we'll be on stream as well. So when you watch this episode, as long as it's before 6:30, you know where we're going to go. So links in the description below. Come check us out on Twitch and on Twitter. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching episode 67 of Bright Lights. And I will see you for episode 68, which will be Sunderland versus Manchester City.